What's going on, everybody? Chosen ones, how y'all doing? Earth Angels. Um, I'm gonna try to make this quick because it's past 12 a.m. and I'm here in the shelter. I'll tell you about that story some other time. You know, it's quiet time, but I'm gonna try to do this real quick. So, from one of my shorts, y'all can probably guess that I am a martial artist. Excuse the noise you may hear in the background. Um, somebody's coming with their noise. Um, you can tell that I'm a martial artist and I practice different martial arts. Um, I remember watching the Uma Fight Camp. Shout out to Sensei Safe Carmen of the Uma Fight Camp. I remember watching a video of his, and I just watched it recently, called "How to Train Your Sport Martial Arts for Self-Defense." And that actually kind of really sparked my curiosity because I don't think a lot of people really understand that concept. What he said in the video was fantastic, but I just want to build on it. So again, shout out to the Yuma Fight Camp, Sensei Safe Carbon. But for regular people, I've got 5 questions, and I wrote it down on this piece of paper right here. And it's called Using Sport for Self-Defense. It's only 5 questions. So the first question is, number 1, does your martial art have real combat sport? Not necessarily like sport karate. So like, let's say, we'll use an example. If you practice Kyokushin, you should not be doing point fighting moves. Point fighting, sport karate, if you train in true Kyokushin, you should not be doing sport fighting moves. No sport karate moves. You should not be whatsoever. The Kumite, Kyokushin Kumite, brutal. That is a good base for street fighting. And there's reasons why that I don't condone really like point karate fighting for like a real like certain combat sport, because like a lot of it will not really work in the streets. I'll explain that in another video. But something like Kyokushin karate or like kickboxing or Muay Thai, in the African arts, we have Dambe, Musangwa. Those are extremely practical. Then there's the next question, number 2. Are you studying street fights? The problem we have in the martial arts, not structured patterns of how to defend yourself in the streets. I mean, you're actually watching street fights. And in that case, which I also learned from the Uma Fight Camp, thank you, Sensei Safe Carmen, because this opened my eyes up completely, especially after my last confrontation I had a few years ago, where I was successful, but yeah. I learned a thing or two about wrestling on the concrete pavement. But here's, like I said, I told that story. I was successful in using Testa, but yeah, my knees and elbows were cut for days. They were scratched up. So you have to really go into number 2. Are you studying street fights? And in this case, particularly, like I said, thanks to Sensei Safe Carmen, street fights with females, women. And do you have situational awareness? From my perspective, if you are not studying how girls are fighting in street fights, you are not ready for a street fight or street defense, because the women fighting these days is like the mecca of street fighting. What I mean by that is, you can say, no, you can't pull hair, let the hair go, you can't throw on the ground, you can't wrestle, and if these two girls are fighting, they don't care. They are going at it. Number 3, one of the most important. Question number 3. Can you, by the way, this mask here in the shelter, there's a tuberculosis, a TB scare, so everybody has to wear it. So sorry if I got this on. But back to this. Number 3. Can you disregard fancy moves from your sport? That means high kicks, fancy punches like maybe like a flying Superman punch, high flying moves like 300, like the 360-degree Taekwondo kick and things like that. Can you disregard that in a real street fight, not a sport match? These are very important because this is where a lot of self-defense practitioners and people go wrong. They cannot separate sport from the streets. And what I mean in this case is fancy dancy moves. Like, again, Sensei Safe has said, or the Omo Fight Camp has said, you in one of his videos, you cannot Philly shell a knife. As a 52 blocks practitioner myself, if you are Philly shelling a knife, you deserve to get cut. You deserve it. I will do a video on that some other time. Then there's question number 4. Are you training basic weapons self-defense? Like maybe basic knife defense, basic gun defense, basic machete, etc. You don't have to be, there's the helicopter flying over. That's confirmation, chosen ones. Confirmation. I'll tell you why some other time. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, are you training? Like you don't have to be super skilled in weapons defense and everything. But things like basic knife defense, basic knife takeaways, basic gun defense, basic gun takeaways, basic defense against the machetes, etc. Just the basics, you'll go far. You have the ability to fight from sport. The advanced moves, a lot of times people don't notice, the advanced moves from the streets can get you killed. Some of them you just gotta let it go. And then the last one, which I think would really help for anybody wanting to learn to use their sport for self-defense. Question number 5, the last one. Are you learning the illegal moves and forbidden moves of combat sports? And I got a few lists here, like fish hooks, rabbit punches, eye gouge, strikes to the joints, oblique kicks to the knee, stomp on the opponent's head when he's on the ground, biting, soccer kicks, etc., etc. You trying to do a double A takedown on somebody on the street, they grab your head, but you let go of one arm, and his groin is free. You're gonna boom, hit him in the groin, or he puts you in a double A. You go in a double A takedown. He puts you in a headlock. He think you good. You're gonna twist your head slightly to an angle, and then come back down and bite his forearm and try to take a chunk out of it. Or you're gonna dig to the eyes, or you're gonna stomp on his head when he's on the ground. Or you're gonna kick and punch the joints. Tear the ligaments up, small finger manipulation, soccer kick to the head when he's on the ground, punching the dude in the back of the head, the back of the neck, and in the spine. All illegal moves and things like mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing. The illegal moves is definitely, that should have been number 1 because you're coming from sport. That should have been number 1, but it's okay. That's actually where you should actually begin to start, I would say. So wanting to turn your sport into self-defense, honestly, personally, start with the illegal moves, then start watching street fights of current times. Preferably watch the ladies when they go at it. Get rid of the fancy dancy techniques and train your weapons. Train your basics of weapons. And make sure, like I said, if you're doing these combat sports, try to avoid like point fighting. You know, because some point fighting tournaments you can do a focus point. A focus point is like that, but you don't even have to make contact, and they'll give you a point for that. That's not going to teach you how to turn your sport into a real self-defense situation. Some sports have to stay sports. Some sports can transition into combatives. But the ones, like I said, the example I gave was like Kyokushin Kumite. That's perfect. Sorry about that. Like I said, here in the shelter, everybody's loud. They just don't care. Like I said, I'll talk to y'all about that some other time, but yes. I'll get back to you later, chosen ones. Y'all stay blessed out there. Peace.